Namaskaram. The truth that everyone knew but no one had the courage to speak is revealed by Vivek Agnihotri on a massive scale through his film that shook the world, The Kashmir Files. Now the makers of the film are coming up with The Vaccine War, the film that is based on the disaster which again shook the whole world. The vaccine was invented by our scientists, but as Nana Patekar says in the trailer, how challenging it was. Even after the vaccine is officially rolled out for usage, the Toolkit gang tried to induce fear in public and caused so many deaths.
India can't do it.
This is a very important film. Everybody must watch it. Let's get to know more about the dangerous Toolkit gang from the director of the film, Vivek Agnihotri ji. Namaskar, Vivek.
Namaskar, Vinod. So happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Yesterday I was there in the premiere show, and what I saw there, my whole life has been exposing this Toolkit gang, but I saw many things which I myself baffled with. I don't know many things which you've shown in the film. So what is your research, Vivek ji?
Should I give a little background how this film came?
Please.
Okay. So, see, when I was about to go to shoot the Kashmir Files when the lockdown happened, so we were sitting at home. And I've always been very interested in spirituality, life, death, what's beyond, you know that. I keep writing my own version of philosophy called Creative Consciousness. So I started studying a lot. And I said, for the first time in the history of humanity, the entire world has shut down. Every single person, 7.5 billion people in the world were locked in the room and wondering whether they are going to be alive tomorrow or not. Nobody has ever thought about death as much as we thought in that time. And how will we be saved? Will there be a medicine? Will there be a vaccine? And ultimately, the consensus was that this only vaccine can save everybody. Vaccine is made with a lot of pharma research, medical research, and which is a huge market in a capitalistic world. And there are only two lobbies which are the biggest lobbies. One is the arms lobby and the second is the pharma lobby. Whoever controls this lobby controls the world. You know that. Everybody is competing to control it. But they also do not let the new people come inside. And which is why you see for so many years, this entire R&D, pharma R&D, the giants, is limited to few countries. And they don't let the other countries grow because then you have big markets. So I was thinking about it, what's going to happen, what will happen. I came across few research reports, which later on turned out to be fake. There was one big report of Johns Hopkins University and Princeton University. It was published report, like a toolkit kind of a report, which said that about 30, 20, 25, 30, 40 crore people in India will be infected. Why would, in the time of a pandemic, anybody would print a report like this? Why would American university be so concerned about India? Then some Indian journalists, I won't name them, it's for people to do research. You are a great genius researcher, you dig it out. Did a big primetime show and authenticated that. That created a lot of fear in people's mind. Everybody started panicking. And exactly that time, the discussion of vaccine also came up. That then after a few days, some journalists started saying why India is not taking foreign vaccine. I won't name any, but basically they were talking about one particular brand of vaccine, which is very much in news these days. So they said, why India is not taking this vaccine? And they started pressurizing, government started building a narrative and a public opinion. And people don't know. Everybody thought that foreign vaccine is the best vaccine. So the people also started saying, yes, why the government is not taking, we should take it. And they also ran a campaign at the same time, which was wishing that more and more people die in India. They were saying, no, not 1,000 people have died, there are 500,000 people have died. Everything is a lie. And they created a lot of fear, insecurity. It is done basically so that government kneels down and buys their Mac. They realize India is going to be the biggest market. The size of India is equivalent to the entire Europe, US put together. That's when I said, let me study this. and we started digging. How I found this toolkit, don't ask me. I can tell you in private. But then we found out that a toolkit was circulating. It's not that toolkit is always bad.
Yeah.
I always say if there's a flood and you have to instruct the collector and everybody how to take care of people who are victims of flood, then a toolkit is very good. It's like a protocol what needs to be done. So that common denominator without thinking without applying brain can do that. But in the time when people are insecure, everybody is scared of death. Who are these people who want more people to die? Only a mass murderer would want that. So I said, let's dig it. And then the research which came out. So research happened at two levels. One was pure science research with Indian Council of Medical Research, scientists from there, scientists from National Institute of Virology. So all these scientists we worked with in details. I also worked with closely with some other doctors and scientists. On the other hand, we also did research on how media, influencers, this toolkit gang was working. And we realized that all they wanted was that more and more and more people die in India, so that government panics, public panics, and they can sell as many vaccines as they want. And if they sell so many vaccines to India and they capitalize such a big pharma market in India, then the government and India becomes a puppet in their hands. That's what these people have been doing throughout. And we have very honestly, sincerely shown it in the film.
Yeah, this is a very important thing, Vivekji. Always the toolkit gang tries to put this image in people's mind that Bharat is a land of snake charmers. No, we are a land of scientists as well. And your work in trying to convey this through the film The Vaccine War, it's amazing, Vivekji. So what are the struggles you went through in collecting the data, the research, Vivekji?
See, first of all, the minute you say you want to make a film on science, so the first is what is called Bollywood. The Bollywood thinking is, why make a film on science when you can earn money with dance and songs? And the common wisdom was, make Kashmir Files Part 2. You'll make hundreds of crores of rupees. But anybody, all these big stars or directors, producers, studios, multinational studios, they would have gone and made Kashmir Files too. Everybody does that. We didn't do that. We took the money we earned, put into this very risky project. No glamour, no hero, nothing. In the lab, people are wearing masks. Even sometimes I also had problems recognizing actors who's who because they were wearing masks and the PPE kits. But we decided to make this for two reasons. Number one, we did a research with Indian Institute of Management. And we figured out that despite the virus being there and the vaccine being there, nobody knew which field of science it is. It is virology, people didn't even know. If we make a film and even 100 children get influenced and join this lie, then India has a good future. So there was an IT revolution in 2000, now it should be biotechnology revolution in India. So that was one intent of making this film. Second is that I wanted people to know clearly who are the real enemies of India. Very often we think Pakistan is the real enemy of India, but I personally believe that the real Pakistanis live inside India. The enemy part of Pakistan lives in India. So our war is not, of course, from outside also, but if these people refuse to work on a payroll to the enemies of India, which are sitting in America or in powerful countries, then we don't have the kind of threat. Because if there is a war on the border, you can fight with guns and jets and all that. How do you fight a war if the person sitting next to you in a plane or in a train is the enemy of Bharat? How do you don't know? Or you go to a government office and there is somebody you are dealing with and he is an enemy of Bharat working on somebody else's payroll. How do you know that at 9 p.m. the news you are listening to, is not funded by the enemies of India? What if they are instructed to slowly, like a slow poison, create insecurity? What is the guarantee that they are not attacking our cultural leaders? What is the guarantee they are not attacking our spiritual leaders? What is the guarantee they are not trying to shake the foundations of Indian culture? And I realized that they are operating at various levels. There's an info war going on in India, there's a cultural war going on, there's a cyber war going on, and there's a legal war going on in India. And vaccine war is part of that.
Exactly, that's what I was so baffled with. In fact, I got scared in the second half of the film, the way this journalist is trying to get away with propelling fake news about the vaccine, because I put myself completely into this, the info war. Is there a way to defeat this toolkit gang, Vivekji?
See, I am for last 10 years, I am fighting this. Okay, you are fighting more now. And the reason, first I want to say why I have come here. I have come here, right now, our film is there, we have success of Kashmir Files, all top podcasters want to do that. I have refused to go there. Because all of them do it for money. I don't give any money, but they want to do with me because then they'll get a lot of views and they'll earn money from them. I said I'll only go to people who are genuine Bharati warriors. Okay, I did one with Ajit Bharti, I'm doing it with you. And I'll do with one or two more people who are genuinely fighting as a dharma. I have spent 10 years fighting urban Naxals. Who are these urban Naxals? People in India, can I explain the whole science of this thing? The fight is at two levels. One is the socio-cultural level and another is at political economic level. Okay. India is an emerging superpower. And in this competitive world, nobody wants India to succeed. Don't get carried away by White House reception of Mr. Modi, which is fine. That is all optics. But at the same time, they also plan how to sabotage India's interest. We are lucky that we have a very powerful leader who's fighting the world like you fight or I fight. So we are safe there. So they want India to fail on many fronts. Okay, economy, and by creating a political narrative that the minority is not safe in India, or there is sab dare hue hain and the majority is killing everybody. These kind of narratives they create basically to destabilize the country politically. You have to be very clearly, you have to understand this. How will they do that? One, they create international pressure. They use media, second is they file lots of cases. The minute government says, okay, we are going to build an expressway here or we are going to build an airport here, hundreds of people file cases against making that. Project gets stalled and then for years there is no development. So they basically stall the development, destabilize the economy, or some big industrialist, then they will do a character assassination of that person. So the whole industry comes down, stock market goes down. That's the tactics they use. Second, politically they say your democracy is bad. You have no free speech. You have no this. I was in America, Vinod, just few days back, and I always go. In the only place in the world where there is no free speech, you have more free speech in Russia and China. The only place where you cannot say what you want to say is America. You can't say anything. The minute you say something, somebody takes out a victim card and sues you. So you have to say all nice things, beautiful things, that. So they say India doesn't have free speech, India doesn't have democracy, then they damage legally your economy. And the second thing what they do is, they attack your social, cultural, religious, spiritual institutions. They attack. They would attack, say, Baba Ramdev. They'll attack Sadhguru. They will attack Sri Sri. Okay, so what happened is millions and millions of people get insecure. Am I following the right person or not? Am I doing right or not? So their biggest weapon is creating doubt. Once there is doubt, you get insecure. So they create doubt in your mind. And once they create collective consciousness becomes doubtful, then they take advantage of that. And how it is done? In India, my understanding is there are two kinds of monies coming in. From the eastern side, the red money comes in, the communist money. Okay. And from the western side, the Islamic money comes in. And there is a kind of a nexus between Islamic and communist. They're kind of, that. And politically that is reflected in Dalit politics and various kind of things, and they make groups. So this entire corridor which they have created between red money and the terrorism money, these are the two industries. So terrorism industry and the communist industry, and they are hand in glove. Tell me why no communist has ever criticized the terrorism in Kashmir? Never. They will never do it. Right? Who are the people who say Kashmir Files story is not true? The same Islamic and communist combination. Congress is a puppet in the hands of communists and Islamists. Congress, Rahul Gandhi doesn't have his own voice. He doesn't have his own voice. So whatever he's a puppet. Whatever the master, the puppeteer does, he says that. So that's why Congress says this film is not true. Now about the vaccine. Tell me, why shouldn't India make vaccine? Okay, why? But right from day one, they were against it. They wrote fake articles. They got brand ambassadors, authors and writers and intellectuals and historians and politicians, all kinds of things. There are speeches which I have taken out from the film. Initially we put, but I'll put it on social media now. And you know all of them. Okay, the Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal.
कई सारी वैक्सीन आ चुकी हैं इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में. जॉनसन एंड जॉनसन है, मॉडर्ना है, फाइजर है और भी बहुत सारी हैं. सो इनसे सबसे केंद्र सरकार बात करके केंद्र सरकार इनसे सारा इंपोर्ट करे और राज्यों के अंदर बांटे.
He has been promoting Pfizer and foreign vaccines. He is taking mic in PR. And why this government is not taking it? Nobody asked him why we should take it. That's the failure of media. So people who are standing in front of him, nobody asks, hey, Chief Minister of Delhi, if India is being able to make its own vaccine and is being able to be self-reliant, why are you promoting these vaccines? Why nobody asked Mr. Rahul Gandhi that why are you giving these speeches that a tsunami is coming and India can't do it? Even if tsunami is coming, and if you want to be the future Prime Minister of this country, you don't do it going in press conferences and screaming tsunami is coming and creating fear and doubt and insecurity in people's mind to create panic. When panic is there, government comes under pressure and therefore government takes wrong decisions. Thank God we are lucky that we have a Prime Minister who does not swayed by these things, and he stood. The leadership of this country took a very big risk. They said no to foreign vaccines, blackmail. It's not that they were against them. They were blackmailing. You've seen the film. They were blackmailing.
Those points, even I do not know that.
They've come from their own application. It's not that I have invented.
Usually when we research online, we don't get to know these things that you put out in the film. Vivek ji, could you please talk about few points why the government rejected Pfizer vaccine?
Yeah, for example, see, technical points I won't go, but the main thing I think which was against the interest of India, that they wanted Indian government to give a huge advance to them. And if they don't follow the timelines, and if they don't follow the delivery lines, if the supply fails, then they were not answerable. Will you do a deal like this?
Never.
Will you give and invest? I'm asking your audience, would you go invest 1 crore rupees in a property where he says, okay, property is not ready, we won't refund your money. Or you go and book a car and you give them 10 lakh rupees and they say, if the car doesn't come, we won't refund money. Or if the car comes without the engine, still we won't refund money. You know, you can't do that. And the second thing was, if you have any dispute or anything, you have to go to the New York court. This is strange. And thank God we didn't do that. So on the other hand, the leadership said no to them and we took a risk of making our own vaccine.
The most important thing is that's a substandard vaccine compared to Indian vaccine.
Now it is being proved. So the journalist who was writing these articles calling our own vaccine substandard so that government comes under pressure, and they were singing songs in praise of Pfizer and other vaccines, ultimately the court ordered them to take out all 14 fake articles. And the result is they haven't seen the film. Film is not released as yet. But they started panicking on Twitter. And I want to tell your audience, it's such a shameful thing that this convicted journalist, the guilty journalist by law, it's not that I am calling her, they started attacking the scientists of ICMR. On social media, they started targeting and attacking those people. So those people, they are government employees. So they blocked her. Once they blocked her, then she went on to shaming them, saying they are blocking me. Why won't you block somebody who's threatening a senior scientist? These are the world's one of the most reputed scientists. They write in Lancet magazines. They go give lectures in international magazines. Dr. Pragya Yadav is the director of BSL-4 lab. Only 6 BSL-4 labs are approved by WHO. BSL means the highest security safety lab, biosafety level 4. Wuhan lab, you know, PS4, it's exactly the same, PSL4. The only difference is we are a genuinely safe lab, that is an unsafe lab. So these journalists are attacking them. Now tell me, Vaccine War, the film is coming, it celebrates Indian scientists and especially the women scientists. Why all these Congress party, AAP party are against me? They are lynching me on social media. They are saying this film is bad, this should not work, it's propaganda, etc. Without seeing the film. Film is not released as yet.
Yeah.
You know, the whole world, the scientists all over the world have seen, senators have seen in America, congressmen, they are standing and clapping, giving standing ovation.
Done tremendous job. I'm feeling so proud that I'm an Indian.
And these people, now tell me who's guilty? Who's guilty? Are they on payroll of somebody else? Why would somebody not appreciate and admire India's great efforts?
The role of Toolkit Gang to question the government, remind and correct the government is not happening. It's clearly anti-national to destroy the government, to do a hit job on the government. So the question that arises is, should we live with this frustration, or is there any steps that we can take to defeat this, Vivekji?
See, we need 10 more Vivek Agnihotris and you need 100 more Vinods. What I say is, I always tell young people that talk about it, don't be scared. They take advantage of our silence. See, a typical Indian Hindu family, how is it? Indian family, I would say, middle class, they will get up in the morning, they'll do their puja, they'll tell their children, be good citizens, go to the office, try to do good work, come back, and just, so they don't have political ambitions. These people have political ambitions. So all the young boys and girls, they should do research and expose them. In the film, we have also shown a graph how it operates, you know, and you have to understand that most of the things, like human rights organizations, are actually not human rights organizations.
Yes, yes.
Correct? Free press is not free press. Fact checkers are not fact checkers. All these people are agenda peddlers. All these people are there to destabilize this country, create conflict and riots. If you take out these so-called fact checkers from Indian scenario, there will be no Hindu-Muslim conflict. Trust me, I guarantee, it is my conviction, I can prove it, that you stop these fact checkers and human rights groups and NGOs, there will be no Hindu-Muslim fight in India.
100%, I agree with it.
Right? They create conflict and they blame somebody else for the conflict.
So, are you going to make a film in future about the info war and legal war as well?
See, legal war, I don't know because I am not very good at legal stuff. But I am making a film called The Delhi Files, which deals with the legalities of all the things we are talking about. So it's a very serious film we are talking about. It basically is about the why. See, I personally believe that the world's longest and continuous genocide is of Hindus. Starting from Aurangzeb, it has never stopped. Or from there we have been killed, and the Britishers killed. Then during partition, it was a massacre after massacres of Hindus. And then you saw in 1971 Bangladesh what happened. In Pakistan, same thing is happening. And when I say Hindu, Sikhs are also involved in it, Sindhis are also involved in it. This entire race which belongs to Bharat, then it happened in so many riots here and there. Kashmir, it happened. And recently you saw the attempt in Shaheen Bagh, the same kind of stuff happened. Mopla, it happened in Mopla from Khilafat movement, you know. Why is it happening? Let's understand. Okay, I want to very openly talk about it. So, Vinod, in India, the only conflict is Hindu-Muslim conflict. All politics comes over there. Socialist and capitalist also ultimately come over there. Why nobody questions why it is there? Why it is there? It is there because it is being created by an ideology called the Khilafat ideology, which means when partition happened, some Muslims decided to live in India. I don't know Kannada, But if I choose to live in Bangalore, I have an option. You go out of Bangalore or live in Bangalore, and if I decide to live here, why won't I learn little Kannada? Why won't I adopt some customs and this thing? And why would I fight against the original citizens of this place? Right? Unless somebody motivates me, unless somebody, कहते हैं हिंदी में चाबी लगाना. And that's what is happening. And everybody is happy with that. Because they are beneficiaries of Hindu-Muslim conflict. And the same beneficiaries are also the beneficiaries of terrorism industry in Kashmir and Afghanistan and Pakistan, wherever it is. There is a common ground amongst these beneficiaries. And these beneficiaries are very heavily funded. You made a video, you know who funds them and which groups fund them. They are all interlinked with each other. So I think the best way is to study them, expose them and talk fearlessly. The only problem is if we would start talking diplomatically, then we are whitewashing the real issue. That's why I'm making these kind of films. Instead of making Kashmir Files Part 2 and make lots of money, I have put in whatever money I earned into this film so that I don't care what happens, but the people should know who's your enemy.
And one takeaway from your discussion is whenever people get to see a picture with Bill Gates and Modi ji, it doesn't mean that Bill Gates is a good guy.
Never ever think Prime Minister has to shake hands with everybody as a courtesy call. So don't think it means they are friends.
Chairman of the board of director of the top institute ICMR, Director General of the ICMR, and what he went through. He knows that it is a war. He knew that it is a war and his employees are not prepared for it. And we have all women scientists. In reality, this is all real. This is not a created story, first of all. So what he went through, how did you get to explore this character?
See, in his book, this is based on his book called Going Viral. So Dr. Balram Bhargava has given hints but not written everything. But once I started talking to him, he's a media shy person. He doesn't talk to media. And there's a dialogue also, Nana says, there's no point fighting media. They are all like pigs, you know. So, but then I started talking to him, his family, people around him, his colleagues. And one thing I realized that all of them suffered because of media. Media was attacking the soldiers who were fighting a war. Right? It's like there's a India-Pakistan war and our soldiers and majors and colonels who are fighting over there, these people start abusing them. They do. When Pulwama happened, the same thing, they don't trust our own soldiers. In Kashmir, for so many years, for 35 years, they have maintained a narrative that the army goes and rapes women till the time Kashmir Files came and then people understood. I used to meet army personnel and all these soldiers and majors would tell me that they are very hurt because of this. CRPF people would tell me they are very hurt because of this. Now wherever I go, in any airport, anywhere, they say, thank you for our dignity. You showed it to. This is what they do. Look at the history. These people, the Toolkit Gang, as you call it, or urban Naxals, whatever you want to call them, they have celebrated Naxals. They always said Naxals are good people. They have celebrated dacoits. Okay, they celebrate terrorists. And they celebrate Arundhati Roy. Okay? Do you see any connection? And they give awards to Yasin Malik. Do I need to say anything else?
They celebrate the death of our generals, Bipin Rawat.
Yes, they celebrated death of general. They wish our Prime Minister and our General Chief of Army Staff and our National Security Advisor, one of the greatest intelligence person, Mr. Ajit Doval, they wish them deaths. During COVID, if you remember, people forget, they were wishing deaths to all these people. They are such pathetic souls, such pathetic souls. And the only thing is they can be bought for a very small amount of money.
Most of the cases, they also do not know what they are doing.
If you see Pallavi ji says a dialogue in the film, towards the end, she says, who are these people? Nobody knows. Where do they come from? Even they don't know who they are working for. And that's the problem. Even they don't know. See, I'm a filmmaker. Okay, and you can easily, Acha Vivek ji, you want to make a film, I'll give you some money, etc., make friends with you, and you make me say things in public. Public is thinking that I'm saying, so I know about it, that's why I'm saying it, I'm influenced by it. But actually, you have influenced me, and somebody else has influenced you, somebody else has influenced you. So money is moving like this.
It's so unfortunate that all the filmmakers of Bollywood are the victims. They made this kind of films which put Hindutva down for so many ages. Now, one person, Vivek Ji, I mean, you are a hard nut for them.
But I'm not Bollywood, I'm outside Bollywood.
Exactly. Could you please talk a few lines about that badge?
About this? Oh, this is our production company, and this Buddha does not mean Gautam Buddha. It simply comes from Sanskrit word Buddha, which means enlightenment. When you are enlightened. Okay, so we believe in Hindu philosophy that every child is born enlightened. Slowly the society dulls your mind. So bad habits and wrong habits, all you have to do is with spirituality, you have to clean it and discover your own Buddha. I started it basically when I was teaching lots of students. So I used to call that model, I am Buddha. So I used to tell them, you are Buddha, you don't have to look outside. Discover your inner Buddha. So that's how it started, and we never changed the name of the company because our first film came from this name. I am Buddha is a module I was teaching in a workshop I was doing in Indian School of Business, which is I am Buddha, workshop for global leadership. And from there, the idea of this urban Naxals came. That was the first time in research. What you are doing now, I understood in 2010 that there is a big gang which is being funded by some big powers and how they are operating. So we made a film called Buddha in a Traffic Jam. That changed my life. Then we never changed the name of this, I am Buddha. So, yeah.
So the Toolkit gang against the India and COVID, do you think they are defeated now?
In a way, in the pharma industry, yes. In fact, recently in G20, it was, I understand that what the conclusion which G20 came to, that the three biggest achievements of India, out of them COVID, this vaccine manufacturing. Foreign Minister Jaishankarji, I think he said in some interview 2-3 days ago that it was recognized unanimously that our vaccine manufacturing is the best thing we have done. In US, I was there, everybody, every senator, congressman or other influencers, media people I met, general public, all of them believe that India did a great job during COVID and with vaccine. It's a big achievement. One thing is for sure that now India has entered the club. We may not be a lifetime member of the club right now. Maybe we are just an associate member, but that is the beginning, and slowly we'll become a lifetime member also. So these people have failed over there. Very badly they have failed. Now the only agenda they are left with in next 1 year or so is playing the communal religious this thing. And how it will be played is that they will take out all pictures, videos, this and that, and blame it on Hindu-Muslim conflicts, without telling the real reason. Then, like I said in the film, some influencer will post it, then some fact checker will come and he will authenticate it, and after 3 months or after the elections, you will realize it was all fake. Okay, so just calling yourself fact checker doesn't make you a fact checker. Fact checker is never a person, first of all, because a person can never do it. Fact checker is a system. Fact checker, you have to create a system which is, of course, people create the software, but it is not people driven. It is impossible for human beings to be absolutely factual. It is impossible. Nobody in this world can be 100% factual. Okay. For example, I'll give one example so people understand. Suppose you go to buy a ticket somewhere, and tickets, very few tickets are left. If there is a person sitting over there, you can influence him. But if you are going and pressing buttons and taking out a ticket, then you can never do that. So factual means it has to be absolutely no intervention of human judgment at that point of time. Number one, which is not true. All these fact checkers in India are single people. Second, they are only fact checking of one group of people, never of the other group of people. And their intent is very clear. The way they do this so-called idiotic fact checking is to create Hindu-Muslim conflict here and to peddle the agenda, the mainstream agenda of our enemies, that Muslims are not safe in India. Okay. I work with all the Muslims all the times. I have friends who are Muslims. I know so many people. Every Indian is working on day-to-day basis. Hindus and Muslims are working together. Tell me who's not safe. We don't have mass killings in India. We don't have serial killers in India. Why we are not safe? But they create this agenda all the times that there is no democracy in India, there is no free speech in India, and Muslims are not safe in India. And this 3-point agenda they publicize everywhere.
Vivek ji, could you please tell us a little bit about the geopolitical war behind the vaccine?
So, see, it all begins with gain of function research. This gain of function research was a collaboration between a couple of agencies or countries or parties or research agencies. America happens to be one of the strongest part of it, led by Dr. Fauci. Okay, and PS4 lab, which is BSL-4 lab in Wuhan, is where this was taking place. It is beyond doubt now, in my mind there is no doubt, that they were re-engineering the virus. Because the law of virology, now I stand corrected, but this is the understanding I have been given to understand by some top scientists. There is a law in virology. Like you have law of gravity, similarly you have law of virology, which is any virus which spreads very fast is not fatal, like flu, influenza. Any virus which is very fatal doesn't spread very fast, like AIDS. AIDS is a very slow spread, but it's fatal. Once you get AIDS, then it's very difficult to be. For the first time in the history of virology, there was a virus which was spreading very fast and it's as fatal. It's a killer virus. It was killing millions of deaths all over the world. This creates a lot of doubts in people's mind. Who was leading this? Right? I'm not against Dr. Fauci, but he's the guy who's leading it. And he never came out clean on this issue. Dr. Fauci has always gone wishy-washy about it. He has beaten about the bush. He has never came clean. He is a scientist world looks up to. Okay, he has to come and say, no, PS4 has nothing to do with it. Wuhan has nothing to do with it. Then he has to support it with evidences. Now everything is a statement. US Congress has questioned him. American media questions him. Scientific community questions him. These are dicey people. Okay, I don't want to discredit him for his science, for his, he is a senior person, undoubtedly he's one of the greatest scientists we have. But in case of coronavirus, his integrity can be questioned by even somebody who doesn't have too much of knowledge.
Correct. And I feel that having all the scientific knowledge, they give importance to propaganda and they give importance to keeping India as a slave to the West.
Isn't there a dialogue in the film? Yes. He says, you are a science editor, not a political editor. What does she say? Everything is politics, boss, including science.
That is unfortunate matter of the day. Two important questions, Vivekji, to conclude. One thing is about your security. You are no less than a warrior. You are no less than a soldier, making films and exposing truth. How are you maintaining your security?
See, after Kashmir Files, after all these fatwas were issued, it's very unfortunate, Vinod. It really hurts me, not because I am involved, but it hurts me. Before me, so many people made films on Kashmir issue. Some great directors and producers and actors, stars. Those films celebrated terrorists. They gave sympathy to terrorists. They justified terrorists. Nothing happened to them. But when I made a film for the first time which questioned terrorism industry, then fatwas are issued against me. What does this show? It means the people who are issuing fatwa are guilty, not me. Isn't it? Yeah. Why? If they want to shut my voice, means they are guilty. And after that, there were a lot of threat perceptions. So one day I got a call from intelligence agency, and they said that you have to have a Y+ security, and that's how the security came in. Now a lot of people, I've lived in Delhi, I know a lot of people think it's a status symbol or you are a VIP or something. This is a bogus argument. It's a prison. Yeah. It's a prison. Somebody is always following you and you can't sit alone in the car, you can't speak this thing. Somebody is following you. I have not been able to travel with my children in last 1 year. I don't go out to shopping places, to eat outside in restaurants, nowhere. My life is, I don't travel. I used to be a great traveler, take a bike, go to Ladakh, do these things. I can't do that. I can't drive a bike anymore. I can't drive myself. So life has become a prison. But initially I was very irritated, and I've been calling intelligence agency in Delhi saying please take them off, but then they explained it to me, made me understand that how dangerous these people are. Okay, and they want to destroy one by one all the warriors. Okay, so I understood now. I have little surrendered to my own prison. So that's what the security issue is. And things keep happening. I was in Goa one day, I was meditating. When I opened my eyes, there was somebody from Punjab, a boy had come to this thing. Then finally he was caught, arrested and stuff like that. These kind of things happen. On social media, if you see, they are lynching me all the time, threatening me, including my daughter. They take out her pictures, put it, write ugly, dirty things. But my daughter is a very brave, beautiful, wonderful person. And she's as fearless as me. So that's why I don't do anything. But imagine if she wasn't like that. And how psychologically they are trying to impact my family. So that's the problem.
So sad, Vivek. I feel so sorry for the kind of life.
Even you are also, people keep threatening you, they keep reporting you. I know your videos are being taken out.
Yes. And I really wish, we want you as, you have this wonderful skill of making films, telling the story.
All I want to tell them is that you were born courageous. You were born fearless. A small child, when you are 4-year-old, 5-year-old, you're not scared of anything. A child goes and he catches hold of a snake also. A child goes and plays with any dog. A child, you leave him in a dark room, he'll cry for some time, but then children are born, God has created us courageous, fearless. Fear is something which the society gives us. And right now, there is a lot of fear is being created of being a Bharatiya. Okay, I think everybody has to discover their inner soul. And I also tell young people, like Swami Vivekananda used to say, even Sadhguru says that little bit of spirituality helps. You are young doesn't mean you can't be spiritual. You do everything, be spiritual, and spirituality doesn't mean sitting and meditating. Spiritual is a way of life, how you live your life. And when you understand yourself, your own spiritual being, then you become fearless. My life changed when I started diving into spiritual part of my life. It changed. Suddenly I feared losing nothing. You love your mother. We are the only society in the world, only country in the world which calls our country Bharat Ma. It's a Ma, mother. So like our own mother, we must also fight for our own mother. And only when you realize that we are the oldest surviving civilization in the world, and all civilizations have died. Every single civilization in the world has perished. Only we have survived, the oldest living continuous civilization. It has not happened just like that. It's not a magic. It has happened because there have been Swami Vivekanands, there have been Shivaji, there have been Vivek Agnihotri, there are Narendra Modi, there are Vinod. We are all fighting. So I want youth to be inspired and fight for the country. Do your job. Take out just 1 hour every day. Just research. Research will open your eyes. Once your eyes are opened, your conscience will tell you what to do. You don't need to read any book for that.
Fantastic, wonderful, Vivekji. So if there is no questioning voice, every idiot will govern us. That's the message.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presence, Vivekji.
And I wish you all the best. Once again, I want to repeat. I have just come here so that more and more people watch your channel, and they don't have to agree with you what you say. Okay, but your style is that you open the eyes and people can go back and research on this and use their own judgment.
Yes, very true. And the vaccine war is a must watch, especially for the woman. The emotion from the mother and a scientist. Unfortunately, we did not have many scientists. The emotion that you portrayed in the film, taking the woman characters and the scientists, the core essence of the film is so beautifully made.
So will you do me a favor? Can I request you for something? See, our film, The Toolkit Gang, has asked the critics and reviewers not to review our film. There are two kinds of people, agenda driven, second money driven. And money we don't give to anybody, we can't afford, we don't give to anybody, and it's unethical also to give money and get good things written. So if you have seen the film, whether you liked it or not, can you do a review of the film?
100%.
So that I want independent people to do reviews. Why bother about professional review? Let's create our own ecosystem. Review the film honestly so that people decide on their own whether they want to see it.
Done. You will get a review video on 28th. 28th film is going to release, right? In all languages.
Okay.
How many theaters may I know?
I don't know, whatever I get. We are fighters. We fight till the last minute.
But for sure, this is going to be a worldwide hit, and it's going to shake the world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivek.